Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 240th edition of Cinema Effect. This week, the movie we're reviewing is American Graffiti, which opened in the US on August 11th, 1973. It was directed by George Lucas. It is a teen comedy/drama, I guess, and the synopsis says, a group of teenagers in California's Central Valley spend one final night after their 1962 high school graduation cruising the strip with their buddies before they pursue their varying goals. That sums it up very nicely, because that's very much what they did in this movie. Jaden, are you going to go and get your coffee, or can I ask you what you thought of American Graffiti?
Nah, I'll stay. I didn't mind it. I didn't get as much out of it as I was hoping. It's a lot more plotless than I was expecting. I don't know, just with George Lucas, I just kind of expected something with, I don't know, a bit more story. This very much is a film about people not doing much as a precursor to what they're going to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I knew it was about just kids cruising, but like I just kind of expected there to be something entwined into that. And there is a little bit of stuff, but you know, it's far more of a vibes type of picture that that I just wasn't I wasn't expecting from Lucas, you know. I was it's cool though. It's cool. Just I didn't, you know, fully gel with it as much as I was hoping. As much as you know.
Yeah, okay. I mean, everything you say is totally correct. I was also surprised by getting a vibes picture from George, because it's just not what I think of at all. Even when you go back to THX as well, it's just like, what? It's just like, this is like, I don't know, this is such like an anti-George Lucas movie in a sense, in a lot of senses, in like the dialogue and so many different aspects of just sort of what it is and what it's going for. But I really enjoyed it for that. I really liked it. I thought it was funny. It had this sort of just breezy nature to it. It really captured the nostalgia and just like, you know, the simple nature of everything, which is what it's meant to be. It's meant to be this snapshot of just innocence, you know, chill teenage life, and it just captured that really well. So I was entertained, I would say, fairly well. But then I've got to say, man, like the ending kind of changed me. Like it kind of the ending brought up a point without a doubt, and I can't wait to talk about it because it kind of blew my mind in the moment. I don't know if I'm the only person on earth who reacted this way to the ending, but my jaw dropped. It was insane. But yeah, it caught me by surprise. So American Graffiti is a thumbs up from me for sure. Fitzy, you've seen this film before, so
yeah,
how'd you react to it a second time? You're an American Graffiti expert, aficionado over here.
Yeah, I've invested 1 minute into Look at Life as well, so you can call me an early Lucas fan boy, but
Yeah.
No, I pretty much agree. I think it's just like, it's definitely plotless. It's definitely just like a series of moments, a collection of scenes, you know. But yeah, I don't know. This movie's really weird. I think it's like the pacing is really like on and off, and I think some, you know, we kind of wander around and follow all these different characters, and they're not always like you know, intertwined. So I think some subplots are like more interesting than others, but I don't know. It's definitely an interesting vibe. You know, he's just capturing a specific time, a specific moment, which is very cool. So, yeah, I think it's pretty good, and I do agree with you on the ending. I think the ending is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It kind of low key wrecked me. I'm not gonna lie. It was just like the last thing I expected.
It's kind of like humorous, but at the same time, it's like, you know, somber. It's odd. Just
yeah. It's ballsy. Yeah. It's going to require its own section, but I feel like jumping right to it's going to like spoil the whole everything before it, because it's kind of the whole movie's kind of set up for it, in my opinion. But the movie, I mean, everything you said is right. Do you feel like the film is, I guess, to what extent, and I guess it's like, is there any extent, I guess, to which this film isn't just George Lucas's childhood nostalgia trying to manifest it on camera? Because I feel like very early on, it's clear that, I'm just watching him. Like, it's like if I in 10 years decide I'm going to shoot like my vision of what my teenage years was that I just want to go back to, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm. I mean, he's been very upfront about that's what this film was meant to be, right? Like, it was just.
I mean, I guess so. I haven't like read anything about it that specifically.
I think like even in the
feel like
Ireland documentary, like because they talk about this film quite a bit, just as George Pre, as Star Wars. Like he's very open about like, this is just about recapturing my childhood of cruising and all that shit.
That's great.
Oh yeah, he was very into cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like it was even like meant to be further like his own like personal story that was meant to film in Modesto, but then he decided it was like too different from his childhood, so he changed it and stuff like that. So,
oh god, I'm glad you remember that.
Yeah, it was always meant to be like his personal story.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that. I respect the hell out of that. It's just like he loved it. Yeah, nostalgia for it. He's just like, you know what? I'm just going to make a movie about literally that. Like, I'm not even, I'm not going to try. I mean, in a way he does in the ending. Again, I'm teasing that. But for the most part, throughout, it's just kind of like, I'm just going to capture how great this was. You know what I mean? Or how innocent it all was, I guess. So is the film, are we sort of like, the film is set in 1962. I kept writing down that it felt like the 50s to me, not being a clear understanding of all these decades and shit. So, but I guess that's probably what the early 60s were kind of that crossover period, I guess, where it still feels like the 50s and stuff. But so George, he grew up in Modesto. Is this meant to be Modesto, I guess, or it's just like the unnamed equivalent?
I think it is meant to be, even though they didn't shoot there. I think it's meant to be Modesto.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because obviously he wanted somewhere that specifically looked like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Man, it's so much of the early goings of this movie when they first start getting in the cars and first start just cruising Main Street and shit. So much of my time was spent just like, how much of I've got no concept of like what it was like to be there and have a social life in the early 1960s in Modesto, California, obviously. So like, I was trying to wrap my head around how much of this is just like movie, vibes, and how much of this is like accurate. Because, I mean, I don't doubt they cruised around in cars and got in other people's cars and hung out and shit. I don't doubt that at all. But I just mean to the extent to which they're all basically like spending hours just driving in circles and just like yelling at each other through windows. And just, it was just having these conversations. It was kind of hilarious and ridiculous to me. But like in a funny way of just like, is this really what this was like? You know what I mean? I don't know if it was funny to you guys, but I'm just like in the early days, I just kind of had to get used to it because I'm just like, this is like, it's just funny. It's just hilarious. And the movie tries to be funny and is very funny in other moments, but this was like unintentionally funny, where it's just like, this situation is just like, what? I wish I could just cruise around. I was just cruising around G-Town, just like yelling at each other. 4 hours later, circle back around, just resume your conversation. You know what I mean?
Zach, you do know people do this today, right?
But not in this way, right?
I mean,
this is what I'm trying to understand.
Not to this extent, but people definitely just cruise around and like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But like, windows down, coming. It's somehow like a communal activity. You know what I mean? Between everyone in the town. But like they somehow managed to turn driving around into that. It's kind of, I don't know. That's the part that was blowing my mind. I get that people just cruise around in their cars with each other. I get that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You can go on a cruise with your friends still.
I'm well aware you do. I'm well aware. Yeah. I don't know. That shit was cool. In terms of, I don't know, I guess in terms of like the vibes and the cruisy, just, I'm going to probably keep coming back to it because it's like pun intended, but it also is very apt, I feel. The cruisy nature of this film. I was sort of getting a sense early on that this might be another case of like having seen a movie copied, like, because early on when when you get that first scene in the front of the diner and it becomes clear that it's about these two characters, Kurt and what's Ron Howard's name? Steve.
Dave, yeah.
Kurt and Steve. And they're like leaving tomorrow. They're leaving town and Kurt's not sure if he's going to leave, this kind of thing. At first, I was immediately struck by, this feels familiar. This feels like, typical coming of age, high school graduation sort of stuff. So I was sort of right early on thought, oh, is this going to be one of those cases where I've seen other films that have gone on to be inspired by this kind of a story? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it could very well be from before this too. I've got no idea. But I guess my point is that I was then ended up being surprised by how this film didn't really end up feeling like a coming of age story to me. It has, like, one of the genres in IMDb said coming of age. I disagree with it. I don't know. It doesn't really feel like that. It doesn't really feel like it's trying to tell a story about, characters making important life choices and,
Kurt
character development. What was that, sorry?
Kurt definitely is. He's coming of age.
He's, I suppose Kurt is.
I think that actually, I think that Milton, whatever it's the
John
tough guy.
Milner?
Yeah, Milner. Yeah, he comes of age as well.
You think so? All right, you guys.
I think they're making
I
important
think-
life decisions, but
Kurt
it's just
comes of
like
age.
it's not within the formula at all because they don't really deliberate on the decisions at all. They just kind of do things, which I think is, it's kind of part of the whole movie's thing where like things just kind of happen, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, you guys are right. You guys are right. I guess I'm just used to these other similar movies that I've seen. Like, they're wrapped in these coming of age stories. You know what I mean? As opposed to it just sort of happening, like you're saying. Like, I don't know. This feels like Antics, where shit happens and the characters learn stuff, as opposed to, I don't know. I feel like other films that try to do stuff like this, it's like that's like the whole point, is like the coming of age aspect of it. You know what I mean? It's like all thematically tied in. Whereas this sort of does it. This feels almost just sort of like a byproduct of all the nonsense going on, kind of thing. I guess I'm specifically thinking of, like, I don't know, like Superbad or Booksmart, or like I could go on and on. Like Project X comes to mind for some reason. That's such a bad movie, but you know what I mean? Where it's like the whole point is the lessons that the characters learn along the way, kind of thing. But then you've also got like, but they're in the same high school situation. But this is like only high school situation. That's how I felt anyway. It's kind of like a stripped back sort of version of like more modern films, more modern takes I've seen. But this is all me trying to compliment it, because I just felt like all this formula, before it was a formula, or without it being a formula, I guess, was enjoyable.
Like I guess the decisions that they do make in the end is kind of dictated by the things that they do in the movie. Like Kurt's whole thing where he like goes with the gang or whatever and experiences the most of the night. You could say that like he experienced everything to the most exciting extent he could have in the town, so that by the end of the day he realized that it wasn't gonna get any better than that, or he realized like how much he would enjoy staying. And then Steve obviously had his own thing with like the girl, where he was like really upset the whole night once they kind of broke up. So I guess they did have their own like coming of age like arcs, but it was just really kind of sewn into the movie and like not not focused upon that. It was like well hidden, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you say that, and you're absolutely right in how you describe those two characters. But like when you say it was hidden enough for me not to notice, because I didn't notice. Literally, it's like came in here saying I didn't think it had it, but you're absolutely right, it did. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's a credit to the movie, just feeling natural and not like I'm being fed a message or whatever, being fed a parallel of something. I was curious about that ending and those characters' decisions. It felt right. It was cool though that Kurt ended up leaving, and the way you just put that Fitzy was really good. Do you think that like? Do you think what role do you think that conversation with the Wolfman like played into that? Because I feel like that was sort of when he had that experience with the pharaohs, but then I don't know, that conversation he seemed to have with that guy seemed to lock it in for him. I think.
Yeah. He like isn't the like Nick like he like foretells him about like the Wolfman had to get out of here or whatever, and he did. And
when he left. Yeah.
I mean like that. I don't know. I think that very much was like the nexus point of his choice.
Yeah, I think so. I looked at the. I noticed the clock in the background of that scene. It was 4:50 a.m. Because I was like the whole time I was trying to look for clocks, kind of like these guys are early.
Oh.
And I was just like credit to Kurt for like being able to make a rational life decision at 4:50 a.m. because I would be dead at 4:50 a.m. So credit to him. I thought.
So do you actually see did you see clocks throughout the whole movie, like showing the
I was keeping an eye out. Like as it got later, I was keeping an eye out, and I couldn't. I noticed that was the only one I saw. There might have been more. Might have been one at the diner or something. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely saw that one and took note of it. The Wolfman was cool. He's a real dude. He's a real. Do you guys know that? I had no idea.
Yeah, I saw that it said Wolfman in the cast.
Oh, like he's playing himself. Yeah, that's cool. I guess he was like a celebrity. People at the time in 1973 in the cinema were freaking out the Wolfman. They got Wolfman. Meanwhile, I'm just like, I don't know who that is. But
I don't know if it's a big thing. Like, I don't know if he's big or if he's just like another pirate radio thing that Lucas knew from.
Oh, he was just like known in the area because that George grew up in. Yeah, because that's why George cast him. Mm. Yeah, he's probably not. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, unless he really was broadcasting all around the world with a 250,000 megawatts fucking radio.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy how no character has like plans for the night. You know what I mean? Is this what? I guess this is what it was like. You just.
But that is the plan for the night. It's just
to have no plans, just to go with it,
and then go to your senior dance or whatever it was, and
Yeah. That's cool. I guess I'm a bit envious of it as someone who's a constant planner, because it was just kind of crazy to me how like they were winging the whole thing to the extent where like, for example, Toad picking up Debbie for the evening. It's like, what was she going to do before she hopped in his car? You know what I mean? It's like she had no intention of getting into his car until he dropped that one line about her looking like the actress or whatever. And so it's like, what was she doing with her evening? She had no idea.
Yeah, I mean that whole thing is like, I am curious if that's just like an older thing or if that's like a 60s specific thing, and that's part of what Lucas was like, trying to show people, I guess. Because it's very free. It's very laissez-faire. It's just like
absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone in the town just winging it seemingly. Even like the mechanics seem to be up and about late at night and stuff. And obviously the car salesman is still there.
Oh yeah, the car salesman.
Still trying to sell cars at like 9 p.m. or whatever that was. It's like, I don't know about that. That was a funny scene. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the other thing. It was just like how busy this town was at like 3 a.m. You know what I mean? That's another huge component of my quest to figure out how real this is. Was Modesto, California pumping at 3 a.m. like this was?
I mean, G-Town's not pumping at 3 a.m. like this is.
Exactly. Exactly. Is Torquay pumping at 3 a.m.?
9 p.m. Man.
We know firsthand. Absolutely. Yeah, Modesto was just rocking. I don't know. It had a vibe, clearly. But yeah, I don't know. It was just funny how nocturnal the whole thing felt, I suppose. And I didn't know how much of that was George, imbuing that into the film, and how much of that was just, that's just what it was, we touched on Kurt and Steve a little bit already. This movie is so old, by the way, that Ron Howard in the cast is listed as Ronnie Howard. Do you guys notice that?
That was funny when I saw that come.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. That's how goddamn old this shit is, man. He was 18 at the time of shooting, which is crazy. And I didn't know that Fitzy obviously did. I didn't know that Dreyfuss was in this movie, and we get him 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
that was a shock.
Mm. Yeah,
he's a lot younger than I thought. I guess he's
that.
not. I mean, like, he's probably I think he's in his mid-20s or something like that. So, like when filming this, so.
Yeah,
but, like, just given that we did Close Encounters last week, and that was 4 years after this, and he plays like a man with like a 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like, it just puts his age into perspective a bit.
Yeah. I was literally about to say the same thing, because in the Close Encounters trivia, I read that Spielberg originally thought he was too young for that role in that film.
Mm.
And but having just watched that film last week, I didn't see that at all. But now I get what he meant. Because now I'm going back 4 years and how he's playing this teen character, and that totally feels believable too. So if I'm Spielberg at the time, having watched this performance, I'm like, this guy can't be my middle-aged dad who loses his mind. You know what I mean?
What role did he play in Jaws? I can't remember. Was he like a young bloke in Jaws? Or
he was the like scientisty guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I can't remember like really what his age was meant to be like played like.
Yeah. Neither.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have. It felt like that's kind of a side character, right? So I feel like it didn't really matter,
right?
I guess. But yeah,
he was just like 30s. Yeah. What did you say?
He's not in it a ton. I don't think in Jaws, is he?
Oh, he's pretty big, he's pretty big in the film. But I think he's like a 30s guy. He's like got a beard, I think.
Oh, he's got a beard. Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay. Watch him not have a beard. Yeah, I've got no idea. What was some of you already mentioned, Fizzy, that some of the what do you want to call them? Storylines, segments, whatever, character threads are weaker than others. Do you have one that comes to mind as being quite entertaining or strong in some sense?
I think anything with Ron Howard is pretty good. Ron and the girl are good.
Yep.
Dreyfuss roaming is good. Actually, I don't know what was weak. I don't know. I think they were just individual moments that were weak. I don't think there was any of the characters that were particularly like uninteresting or anything.
I agree with that. Yeah. My favorite. Oh man, my two favorites were actually were John cruising with 10-year-old, and then also Toad cruising with Debbie. Those were my two personal favorites. I think they just kind of got into the weirdest, most bizarre sort of situations. Well, especially Toad and Debbie with like their whole when it turned into the like him trying to get the booze from the store. That was a whole funny sequence. I enjoyed.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one. They ended with the guy running out with the gun and started firing. So random. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, Steve though / Ron Howard, like he's kind of an asshole, right?
Yeah, I did notice that. There were moments where he was kind of a dick. I was like, why does everyone like this guy? Is it because like there are moments in the film where everyone just like comes up to him and stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
He was popular around town. I don't know. I mean, he basically asks his girlfriend if they can see other people, and he tries to put it diplomatically, but really he just he's just horny and wants to get around. Basically, is all it is. And then he basically later on just wants to have sex with her because and it's like, come on, man, come on.
Yeah, that was so scummy. Something to remember. What do you say? Something to remember you by or something?
Yeah. It's like that's such that's what a line, man. That is scummy for sure. There were a few different times I feel like where George was like he was getting close to the line. You know what I mean? Of like. I don't know, characters being characters crossing lines, characters being inappropriate. You know what I mean? And he didn't fully cross it, but he was playing with it at times. You know, in that scene, I think was one. There's that whole bit where you've got like the school teacher who's like clearly flirting with his relationships with the students.
Yeah. They've graduated now, so it's all right.
Right. Like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think, but there is like a few examples of him kind of throwing things like that in the film, where it's kind of like, and obviously, I mean, like it's part of the humor of the sequence, but like the John 10-year-old dynamic is part of that too. You know what I mean? Where it's
I don't think that ever really I think he was pretty careful with that one.
Oh yeah, no, he's careful the whole time. I'm just saying he's throwing these ideas out. He's pushing some stuff.
Yeah, but like I don't think like just with it like being like I don't think John was ever like seedy at all.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
no.
I think like that one was actually like quite safe, safe-ish. You know, I think he's like.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
It's just that I think it's actually a pretty good depiction of what like a kind of 12-year-old trying to act be underage.
Yeah,
you know, I think the conversation was quite. I don't know. I think that whole thing was like pretty fine.
No, I totally agree. But like when you put it as like safe-ish, like that's exactly what it was like. It was like it could have turned somewhere, but it didn't. You know what I mean? Like when he leant into like he was gonna like kiss her for a second.
Yeah, but that was just to like.
It ended up being fine.
That was just to get an answer out of her so he could take her home. Like that was always the intention, you know.
Yeah.
That was pretty obvious that he was playing her and she just didn't realize, you know. It was like
yeah, definitely.
Like
there was nothing.
It's fine. It's like it's.
Yeah. I'm not arguing that like John himself was like tempted or I'm not like saying that at all. Like John was solid. I'm just saying that like I think story wise George is playing with this stuff. You know what I mean? Just from a broader perspective. Yeah, which was curious. I don't know. It made me definitely like. I feel like for sure that was him confirming that like he knew teachers that had relationships with kids, right? Like that's like why I feel like that's for sure. Like he had to have known about that. That's like why he threw it in. Surely.
Yeah.
It feels like you know what I mean. Like it feels like him making this movie about my childhood.
Yeah. I think probably a lot of these characters are probably like a bit real. Like that, I reckon that salesman After Dark is a very real character from this town, and like like I think he's definitely worked a lot of his life into it. It's very much his Fablemans, you know.
His Fablemans, yeah. That scene with the car salesman. The salesman was pushing it so hard, and Toad was doing the thing where you're just trying to be polite and back off. But then, like, in the last instant, like, Toad just sort of broke. Like, as he was getting back in the car, he was just like, the whole time he was being polite. And then he was like, leave me alone, for God's sake. And then just closed the door. Were there any particular segments that were weaker to you, Jaden, or anything that you wanted to highlight?
Kurt? Was it Kurt? I can't. It's Kurt, right?
With the Pharaohs?
Yeah,
Pharaohs,
yeah.
mate?
Yeah, sorry. I was just checking because I couldn't remember if that was his name from last week.
Oh, yeah.
I think his actual storyline was kind of weak, but the resolution was strong, you know? Like, I didn't really care for what happened to him too much during the night. Although, like, I understand, like, it's everything that happened is what led him to kind of to the end, but, like, I wasn't overly enthused when we cut to him. I just think the other three had a bit more fun going on.
Yeah. I generally agree. I mean, yeah, I didn't dislike the segment at all. I think, him getting around with the Pharaohs. I liked the main guy, like the main Pharaoh guy, like the leader or whatever, or that little 3-pack. I thought he was a fun performance, but yeah, like them, I don't know, like that. Honestly, for some reason, like particularly comes to mind is like that sequence where they like go into the store or like the arcade or whatever it was, and then they start. That was just kind of a weaker scene, in my opinion. I feel like maybe I'm like letting that dictate more of it, but yeah. So I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I feel like I've mentioned a few times how I think this movie's like pretty damn funny. Would you agree with that as an overall assessment, Fitzy? Like, are you laughing watching this movie? Is that the experience you're having with it?
Yeah, it's pretty humorous. I mean, I don't think there are that many like extent. Like the liquor scene is kind of the most extended comedy sequence. It actually feels like it's
Yeah.
in a comedy, you know. But the rest is
Yes, I
just
agree.
kind of, you know, slice of life, kind of very natural comedy, which was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I lost my ID in a flood.
Yeah, in a flood.
I enjoyed that a lot. I think a lot of the humor also just came from like the script and like just the actors' performances and just the way they were playing with the dialogue. I thought was just quite enjoyable, and they were. I think they were. You could tell that they were having fun at times. Toad honestly might have been the best comedic actor in the film for me. Um, he was.
Mm.
He was. I don't know. He never let me down. It was really cool that he picked up Debbie. He's got some game, good for him. But like, I thought for sure that was going to lead to the archetypical bullshit of like where he's this stumbling nerd character who can't get a word out. You know what I mean? Where he's like stumbling all over the place because he's nervous because the hot chick's with him. You know what I mean? And it's just like he wasn't really like that at all. Like he was kind of a mess, but in a different way. He wasn't like he was fairly competent as a person. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like these, like I feel like so often that kind of character is like a buffoon. But he was just kind of goofy, you know. He was kind of different.
What's Marty McFly's dad in Back to the Future?
That is like 100% that. Yeah. Like Toad could have been that guy, and thank God he wasn't. He did give me a good tip about just yelling out at women that they look like someone, and then that's
always works. Yeah.
You know that one. They went in the data bank there. That's a good one. Yeah, he just, I don't know, he had the most fun stuff to play with, I think. There was there was a few different, like, sort of just moments and lines he had, like, well, first of all, the drive-in, like, the diner speaker being inaudible was funny. Like, I don't know if you guys watched it with subtitles. Yeah, when he was, like, pressing, he's, like, trying to talk to them, and they talk back, and he just gives up because they fucking can't hear anything. That definitely felt authentic. And, there was the other one. This felt like an ad lib to me. I don't know, but like after he's been beaten up, and they like go back to Mel. Is it Mel's diner? And they go back there. Like they go back there later in the film, and they pull up, and he kind of like hits the speaker, and they go in there to ask for ice, and he hits the button. And he just says, "Help! Oh, I mean, can I please have?" Like, it was just, his first reaction was like a desperate cry, a primal cry for help, and then realized, oh, can I please order some? It was just funny. I haven't given enough shout to my guy John Milner. Actually,
yeah,
he was actually my favorite character. I think, like, Toad's my guy comedically. This is just my guy. You know, that was a weird way to put that, but yes, I stand by it.
I definitely get
solid.
that. Yeah. I quite liked him. I don't know. I quite like the role he played as the guy that knows he's stuck in the dead end town. But he's kind of okay with it. But he's kind of wrestling with it as well. Seeing all his friends go away, I quite liked.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that dynamic that comes about in like situations like that.
Yeah, he's No, sorry, Fizzy, go for it.
Oh, he definitely nails like the older kind of, like slightly older kind of father figure character. Yeah.
Yeah, like an older brother to the others. Yeah, that's sort of how I felt about it. Yeah, because he's not meant to be older, right? But he feels older for sure. I think
I don't think he's. I think he's meant to be their age. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I mean, obviously, I get that the actor's older. But
then even
like,
in putting him with a 12-year-old for the whole night, it kind of gives him that age to him, you know.
Yeah. I think it's that, and I think it's also the fact that like he has this built-in lore in the town about being like the fastest. You know what I mean? Like, everyone knows him for that. That feels that sort of ages him experience-wise, I think. Yeah. Speaking of that whole thing, the rivalry with the speed, Harrison Ford's in this movie. And I got to say, speaking of funny shit, this was pretty funny. Him doing this weird southern accent thing, I don't know what that was, but it made me laugh. You can't tell me Harrison Ford's big hat didn't tickle you, Jaden.
I didn't realize it was Harrison Ford at first. Like the first time they showed him, I didn't believe it was Harrison Ford. You know?
Were you waiting for him though?
No, I didn't even know it was in this movie.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for him. But yes,
and then it was like when we like got a clearer look and like it was like less shaded. I was like, shit, what's he doing now? But yeah, I don't know. It's quite a star maker of a movie, you know.
I don't think this movie did anything for him at all. But
like, maybe not him really, but like
it should have.
I don't know. When you look at the rest of the cast and you see what they're going on to do after, like
yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah,
that's 100% true. One of the main reasons that so many studios initially turned down the script was because George Lucas wanted at least. Wait, is this what I meant to? Oh, sorry. I've now started reading a completely off-topic trivia because I thought it was another one. My bad, but I'm just gonna finish it now. One of the main reasons why so many studios initially turned down the script was because George Lucas wanted at least 40 songs on the soundtrack, which would obviously lead to a large bill over the rights to these songs. Universal finally agreed to fund the picture when Lucas's friend Francis Ford Coppola, fresh from the success of The Godfather, came on board as producer. Francis got him that soundtrack licensing money.
Yeah, so I was kind of wondering just with that as well a bit, like is Lucas's family like uber rich or something like that he has like Lucasfilm like already, you know, at this stage of his life, or is it like just Coppola backing that kind of got him here? Like did everything go right in terms of like his films being good enough to continuously get him a check? I'm like where's his money come from?
Well, I mean. No, he definitely wasn't. Like, so he had some contacts. Like, so he'd already made THX. So, like, he was... Yeah. It wasn't like this was his first film and he's a total unknown or anything.
Yeah.
Obviously, the connection with Francis is helping him at this point, clearly. I don't know the whole ins and outs of it, but no, he wasn't. He didn't grow up rich or anything, no. I think, at this point, the production company is just... At this point, like, Lucasfilm was just nothing. I think it was just like any production company that you put together to make any movie. You know what I
mean? Right. Okay. But even Coppola, like at this time, Godfather just come out. But I was gonna say, like, what else? Like, Coppola is still not huge.
No. Yeah, he was kind of before The Godfather. They were kind of on equal, just young filmmakers kind of level. But then obviously The Godfather was huge for old Francis and for everyone in his orbit, evidently. Yeah. So I guess this is a perfect excuse, unintentionally so, to bring up the soundtrack. If you guys had any thoughts on it, I thought it was. I mean, I like it. Obviously, hugely adds to the vibe of the time and the film and stuff. It was funny just how constant it was. It was just like, basically, it was a soundtrack in the truest sense of the word. It felt like it was soundtracking literally every moment in the film. It felt like I could be wrong. It felt like the soundtrack was playing throughout 80% of this thing, just always in the background. Always felt diegetic in the right way because everyone's driving around. You know what I mean? So I thought. It really added to it, and it ended up being worth whatever those 40 songs were worth.
I think it adds quite a bit of texture. Yes,
texture, flavor. Yeah, I like that.
I really like the Runaway. I mean, the Runaway part is kind of the main part where it feels like it's just featuring the song, like an actual music video for the song. I think that's the first time I kind of see all the cars, on the kind of main street. So
okay, yeah,
that was cool. But yeah, it does kind of just it is just kind of always present, which is cool.
Yeah, it's like one of those ones where you don't even notice when it's adding because it just never goes away in a good way. Yeah. This was the trivia I meant to read. I apologize. Universal thought so little of this film, not knowing how to market it, and certain that because it had no stars, it would flop, that it sat on the shelf for 6 months before the studio finally decided to release it. To their great surprise, it became enormously successful at the box office, with its production budget of $750,000 and its eventual box office gross of over $115 million in those days. This is among the most profitable movies ever made. Which is curious how it was clearly huge at the time in the cinema landscape if you were there. But like today, this film isn't, widely viewed. You know what I mean? No. It's not like I don't want to say it's obscure. I wouldn't say that, but it's also it's not famous. I wouldn't say. you know. So it's an interesting case. I'm sure there's plenty of other films like that too, where like big at the time, but that doesn't necessarily transcend generations, you know.
Mm. I wonder what it is for this film though, whether it's just like Lucas's name being just, you know, so in time with Star Wars that like his other projects don't get mentioned. I think that plays a factor into it.
Bit of that, maybe, yeah.
But like, it's just like, it was just a thing. It's like when people talk about like films of the 70s, like iconic films of the 70s or well-known films of the 70s, I've never heard anyone mention this. You know, parents, aunties, uncles, whatever. Like, no one's ever really mentioned this. I'm sure some of them have really seen it, but like,
yes,
it's just that like on their behalf, they're not forgetting this film because of Lucas's name, because they never really paid attention to that. So I wonder what it is that they kind of, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Maybe just, I don't know. It obviously hasn't resonated with the audience in that same, I mean, obviously people like it, but it hasn't resonated in that same like way to make it prolific or anything. Can't really say why. It's got a very good Metacritic score, very high. So it's obviously, you know, no issues with it critically, but yeah, it's interesting. Oh, I've got the Harrison Ford trivia. That's what I was going to do. Okay. Oh yeah, Harrison Ford initially turned down this film because he was offered $485 a week, less than he earned as a carpenter and not enough to support his family. When the offer was up to $500, he accepted.
To support his family? So did he have a kid, or is that just like his...
Yeah, good. Harrison Ford kids. Did he have kids?
I mean, I think he did have like a... Didn't he have like a life? He had like an extended... You know, he became an actor kind of later, right? Wasn't he?
He was married to this... His first wife he was married to in 1964, which was 9 years before this movie. So he had a family, all right. There you go.
Hold on, how old would he have been in 1960? He would have been fucking like 18, man, wouldn't he? Like, he's not that old, is he?
1964, he would have been... In 1964, he was 22.
22, okay.
I'm not trying to expose you here, Harrison, for being old.
But like, he seems so young in this film. He would have been...
Yeah.
Like 32, 33.
Yeah, he would have been in his early... But you're spot on. No, he would have been 31 when this film came out. And that's... And you're spot on, obviously, about him coming to acting later. This was like the first time anyone saw him as like, you know, being in anything significant. Oh, this didn't make him. Star Wars made him, and then he ended up being in Star Wars because of this movie. So this movie really started it all, for him just being in it and knowing George Lucas as a result of it. You know, I don't know if you guys know the thing, the trivia about it, but like, so he was a carpenter at the time, as this says, like sort of doing acting on the side, trying to get into acting. And but anyway, did this role, went right back to carpenting. Then when George was doing Star Wars, asked him to come in to do chemistry reads with the other actors, like to be a fill-in for Han, basically. And as a result of that, like, but then he was doing the reads with all the actors as Han, and then George was like, "This is my guy. Let's cast this guy." You know what I mean? And that was it. That was his career. So it all came from being cast in this film, though.
Who was supposed to play Han?
I don't think they'd found anyone. Like in concept stage, Han was an alien at a point as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it was all up in the air, but yeah. Okay, have I diddy-daddled enough around the ending? Can I just get to the ending now? I think I can get there. I'll throw out my experience, and then I want to see how you guys felt about it, because my jaw hit the floor at the ending portraits. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if that's an overreaction, but of just getting those portraits of where the characters ended up in this fictional universe, the movie took me on this one night little adventure with them all, and then hit me with a hard dose of reality of, you know, what became of them. And somehow managed to do it, you know, without any grandiosity, without being overly dramatic. It was just like, here it is. And then went right back to the end credits music. And it was just, it hit me, man. It hit me like a ton of bricks. That first one came up when my main man, my guy, John Milner, died like 2 years later. You know what I mean? So, I I can sort of get into the deeper psychology of it and why I think it's really interesting. But that was just my first reaction to it. I don't know. Did you react in any similar way, Jane? Did it surprise you at all?
I didn't realize this is what you were talking about with the ending. I thought you were just talking about like Kurt's choice and like his little monologue and like all their decisions and like the kind of.
Oh yeah. No, that's not what else in terms of my reaction. No.
Yeah, this one was interesting. I wasn't expecting it at all. Like I did read that like he like they shot it with a specific film to give it like a documentary feel. So like I guess that this kind of ties into that as well. And it feels a bit Stand By Me-ish, with like the kind of
That's
character
very true.
wrap-ups. Yeah, but then I think I also read that Lucas like hid a bit of himself in each character. So it's interesting that he kills off certain characters and then one of them becomes a writer. And so I think that's another interesting thing for Lucas to look at as well.
I definitely want to talk about that. Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah, like I liked it. It's a bit cheesy, but no, it's definitely an interesting way to end. And I think, yeah, we're just looking at this as a personal film for Lucas, and then his outcome for each character. I think that's a very cool thing. Sure, yeah,
100%. You obviously knew this was coming, Fitzy. Did this? I don't know if this resonated with you in the same way, or if it maybe changed the way you viewed the film a second time.
It definitely hit me the way it hit you the first time, for sure. I think like the tonal change is so jarring that it's kind of humorous at first, but like it's a super somber ending for sure. It's just like punctuated by complete silence. So it's just it hits hard, especially all the like motion of the motion and the free wheeling nature of the entire film. But I think it definitely added a lot. So yeah, it was very, very cool choice.
I'm glad you think so. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I was trying to dissect why. I mean, my first reaction was like, I definitely get what you're saying on the humor level, because like my first reaction was like my mouth went open and I like sort of laughed. I was like, what? Like, and then it hits like emotionally and it's like, what? Yeah, I was trying to think about this, and I think it's got something to do with like a perception of time in terms of like the added, I don't want to sound pretentious and like overthink it, but like I think this is the effect it had on me, is that it added a perspective that like changes the whole experience I just had previously in an instant. It's like a fascinating use of how we perceive time, how you want to, you get to know these characters throughout the film through the lens of a single night. And then very quickly you're like, as the audience, pulled out into this zoomed out, way further out view of like the perspective of a person's entire existence. You know what I mean? It's like if someone in 50 years watches this episode of this podcast, having no idea who we are, like just like, oh yeah, there's three dudes talking about this movie on a Saturday morning, whatever. And then like at the end, it pops up saying like, Zach had a heart attack at age 37 or what, you know what I mean? Or whatever, you know? And it's just like, there's something kind of moving about that to me. I don't know if I can fully explain it, but it's probably got something to do with, it's such a harsh reminder of how fast the time goes and how fleeting everything is, including, everyone's glory years, as Lucas is showing us here, and the good, his good times, his nostalgic times. And because of that, the rest of the film prior now feels like it changed the experience in an instant. It feels like the rest of the film prior, instead of just being this entertaining movie, it like made it feel like some sort of dream or vision of like nostalgia. Like it made it feel like a dream that you'd have, like a dream I'd have of high school or something. You know what I mean? Or like a dream he would have of his high school, and then he wakes up from it, kind of thing. That's kind of the effect that it had. I don't know if I'm sounding too profound, but it was insane. Like, I mean, that all sort of hit me in like 5 seconds when I saw that.
I don't really think it hit me that hard. It's just, especially like just going back to the Stand By Me thing, I think Stand By Me spends a lot better time with the resolution, whereas this felt like too much of a bit of, I don't know, it felt a bit piss takey with just how quickly it flashed up, I guess.
Piss takey. Like, I mean, with the way to which it does just go straight back to the music, I kind of get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So like I don't think I can get like the depth of it that you are. Just
Yeah.
I know from that, but like yeah, okay. That's cool.
Stand By Me is a great comparison. I honestly, like, I have seen that movie. It was so long ago that I kind of forgot it did that. So, like, maybe, like, if I were to go and watch that, that might hit me harder, and I might think it does a better job of that. I think it's just this one. It was just so surprising. I just had no sense because Stand By. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Stand By Me still throughout sort of had this. It felt like it was in there somewhere. Like it had this sort of reflective, sort of like what you're seeing is. I don't know. It had sort of a heaviness in it.
I think it starts off with him writing it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it felt like it was framed in a way where you could kind of see
like,
that something like that could happen.
And like,
yes,
you know, he's going to recount something. Like, you know, he's recounting the story, so like you can kind of almost anticipate it.
Yes,
but like I still think it's a very similar movie in terms of just kids getting up to nothing. Nothing. Like they have a very loose goal of that movie in just walking to find a dead body, and then you're there for the trip along the way, and then. This one with a bit older kids on their night of nothing. Yeah, I think they're comparable, and I think,
yeah. I think that's. I mean, I just don't know Stand By. I don't remember it well enough. I'm glad you do because I didn't expect to walk away today thinking that American Graffiti and Stand By Me have a lot in common, but I think they do now. Yeah.
The only difference is that like the characters growing apart in Stand By Me is kind of. It's rooted by like the main character's kind of perspective, I guess, and it's rooted in his perspective. And like with here, it's just the way they show it is so matter of fact, that it kind of that's I think like the main kind of distinction.
Yeah, true.
That's true, and that probably makes it more surprising as well. Yeah.
But even like in Stand By Me as well, like one of them becomes a writer, like Kurt. One of them dies, like protecting someone. Like
one of them go to war.
I think one of them does go to war, like Toad does. Was it Toad that went to war?
Toad went to war, yeah.
Toad went to war, yeah.
God,
I mean, if you're missing in action, isn't like you're pretty much dead, right? Is that?
Yeah, you're dead. Yeah, he died for sure. Yeah, that's hard. Poor Toad. Oh, that cute guy. Oh no. Oh, that's terrible. But like, Stand By Me, that's an 80s film, right? I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure when King wrote it though.
Good point. Yeah. Let's find out who ripped off who here.
Yeah. 82. Yeah.
He wrote it in 82.
Yeah, he wrote it in 82.
Wow, King saw something in this. Maybe King watched American Graffiti, had the same reaction I did, and thought, "I'm going to build another story around this." You know what I mean? I don't know. That's totally made up. I'm totally guessing that. Totally made that up. But sorry, the point that you touched on earlier, Jaden, about George imbuing something in the character's outcomes is 100% true. I don't know. Do you guys know about the car wreck he was in when he was 18?
Yeah, from the Ireland documentary.
Yeah. I think that's the other aspect that changed in the instant I saw this is that I knew this film was personal in like a nostalgic, fun way. This film became instantly personal in a much deeper way with that ending, I think, because. So he was in a car wreck when he was 18, basically in a situation very, very akin to basically identical. Well, no, I don't know. But in a very similar situation to when Harrison Ford's car rolls in this film, where he was driving on a road like that. One of his mates behind him, it wasn't a race, but one of his mates behind him like pulled out from behind him to come up parallel to him. Just to have fun or whatever, as they were doing throughout this whole film, and like clipped him accidentally, and the car flipped multiple times. He went out, he flew out of the vehicle, all this kind of stuff. Nearly died is like the point, and that is what made him basically change his ways. It made him want to go to school to make movies and stuff. Like whereas before he didn't really know what he wanted to do with his life. Is kind of the way he's described it. So in that way, that's kind of like obviously a huge life-turning sliding doors moment for him that made him sort of reflect on the lifestyle, the whole everything he was, doing carefree as a teenager, and how quickly it can all go away. And I think like no particular characters. It wasn't like no one died in a car wreck in this film, obviously. But I think there's no doubt parallels there with that final race. It's none of it's exactly the same, which I like as well. But it's there. It's like it's there in the race that Harrison survives. It's there in the ending of those characters dying too young, and sort of especially John Milner John died in a car accident, didn't he? Sorry,
John's the one that died in a car accident. Yeah,
he did. Sorry, I meant that no one died in the car accident in the film, but yes, he did. He did come up saying he died in a car accident. So I think that life events all throughout this film as well.
Mm.
And it's kind of, I guess, John Milner in that sense is kind of like if George stuck by the cars and like, you know what I mean, like, and just stayed in town and then had the alternate parallel universe where that wreck killed him, kind of thing, And then, like you said, where obviously Kurt ends up to become the writer, sort of like the other part of him. Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I've read half of this book. I remember. Nice. I remember some of those details. I think his like stepdad or something was like really into cars, and then he became like obsessed.
Right. Yeah.
As you said, didn't know he was kind of like Kurt in this film, where he really didn't know if he was going to go to school or not in California. So, yeah.
That's exactly right. Where does Kurt actually fly to? Did they say? I don't remember.
He said back out east.
Oh, yeah, they did say that.
I don't remember anything else, though.
Yeah, neither. Yeah, obviously, I don't think George went east, so I don't think that's the same. Yeah. I was just trying to draw too many parallels there. Yeah, very, very interesting. And in a way, the film sort of becomes a lot more in that moment. It becomes about, basically his entire life trajectory from that point changing. Oh, what do you got? You got something juicy?
Do you want to hear trivia from the book?
Yes, please.
All right, American Graffiti was Lucas's rock and roll ode to his high school days cruising 10th Street in Modesto. Lucas raged with executives at Universal when they lost faith in the film and cut 4 minutes from the final movie. A slight that further fired his longing to break away from the Hollywood system entirely. The studios he grabbed were filled with sleazy, unscrupulous people. There you
go. I read about those those. So he had to cut for the film, for the runtime. You probably saw this in trivia as well, Zach. But the film was meant to follow a formula of character A, B, C, D, and then before you swoop back around to A, B, C, D again. But then because he had to cut some scenes for the runtime, he couldn't follow that formula. But I honestly think that worked for him, because I think had it been an A, B, C, D thing, I think it would have had too stagnant of an effect almost. It would have felt too, kind of, I don't know, manufactured or something like that.
Yeah,
Whereas this feels a bit more natural in the way the night progresses.
Yeah.
So I think the studio warring with him on that one probably helped him a little bit, to be honest.
This is the
accident. Oh man, jeez. I can't really make it out. It looks like a lot of jumbledness, which is not what you want to see at a car accident.
Youth survives crash. There you go.
Youth survives. Yeah, Luke. Youth survives. Thank God, Youth survived, because we got Star Wars, man. Yeah, I did know about that stuff with, but I thought I could be wrong about this. You remember this stuff better, Jan. I thought that he got control of the final cut again. I think the version we have is his version, but it was taken away from him.
Yeah. I think he did get control of the cut, but I think he still had a time requirement to meet.
Okay.
So that's why he had to still cut some stuff,
and that's why the order still changed anyway. I get you. Yeah. I do recall the studio basically taking it away from him at some point, and then him getting a part of it back. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, he later on he put his money where his mouth was in terms of the studio system, because obviously he made the first Star Wars under the studio system with Fox because he had to, and then the second it was so successful, he left them and made every other film independently. So I respect that as well. When Charles Martin Smith pulls up in the Vesper at the beginning, he's the guy who plays Toad, his crash into the building wasn't scripted. He genuinely lost control of the bike and Lucas kept it in and kept the cameras rolling. It was such a funny little moment. I enjoyed that a lot.
I thought he was meant to be our main character at first until he started crashing. I was like, oh, probably not.
You mustn't be.
Yeah.
That's such a great little accident, because if it's that sort of sets the tone in a really nice way, where if that weren't there, I mean, I don't want to say like the movie would be totally fine. I wouldn't notice it, but like, I don't know, like if they weren't there, you just imagine the shot just being kind of a standard. Okay, we're at a diner. Like that just immediately added a little wrinkle to the tone that was fun. Yeah. Oh, I love the irony of this one. George Lucas missed his high school reunion because he was too busy shooting this film.
Oh, also, I just, like, when I was looking through the credits, I saw that his wife at the time, Marsha Lucas, like, so she edited this. But then, like, she also edited, I think, was it the first Star Wars? All three Star Wars, I think. All like, the original trilogy, right?
I'm not sure about the other two, but she definitely...
I think I saw her on another one. But then I also saw that she worked with Scorsese 3 times, which, like, surprised me.
Do you remember on what?
Taxi Driver, New York, and one other one. But I was just surprised to see that. Like, yeah. I know that Scorsese and Lucas and Coppola, and like, I know they all have a bit of a relationship.
They're all a bit of a clique.
Yeah. But I didn't know. Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting fact as well.
Yeah, I didn't know she edited Taxi Driver. That's cool. Yeah, that's nice. It's all connected. I like how we did Close Encounters. I mean, I talked about Apocalypse Now last week. We did Close Encounters last week. I feel like we're in a bit of a theme here. I like it.
And then Harrison obviously appearing in Apocalypse Now, you know. It's
like... 100%. Yeah. There's a lot of incestuous stuff going on here. You know what I mean? All right. Let's get to our final verdicts for American Graffiti. Fitzy.
Wait, you didn't even mention the main
shit.
piece of trivia, the THX 138.
Oh yeah, did you notice that?
Yeah.
I actually didn't notice it. I felt stupid because it's like such an obvious thing to notice. But yeah.
No, I'll keep it at a 7. I think it's ultimately I think it's not amazing or anything. It's just a little like plagued by some pacing issues and stuff, but it's pretty like unique and just a great kind of time capsule and interesting characters and stuff. So
yeah, I agree with all that. This film was a 7 until the last 20 seconds when it became an 8, because the insane impact that had on me for some reason. Well, I tried to explain it anyway in this episode. Jaden, what about you?
I'll keep it. Not keep it. I'll give it a 7. Yeah. I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more, but that's my bad for expectations, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're going to do THX next, or?
Dude, I'm so keen to watch THX.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
I feel like this is. I feel like I shouldn't say this, but like I don't think I'm ever going to watch THX.
Really?
Well,
I've seen enough of it. Like I don't know. I see it in documentaries. Like I've watched it. And I see the clips of it, and it just looks so boring. I'm sorry.
You see, I've seen the clips, and I think it looks great. I'm like,
okay, all right.
Like,
No,
I've like, I don't know how long the things you've seen, but like, I've seen like, you know, kind of like edited into like a quick montage, like probably like, I don't know, 10 seconds in total. Like those 10 seconds, I mean, like, it looks great.
It looks visually interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I just feel like I've seen enough of it to get the gist that I feel like I'm going to be bored by it. Right. But like, fair. I also recognize that's very close-minded. But yeah. I mean, there's huge. I love it for, and I know enough about it to understand that like the impact it, you know, understand his philosophy and politics and like putting that into his work. And, you know, there's THX very much echoes throughout Star Wars in very different ways throughout, which I always find fascinating. But, and then that continues on with it like Andor echoes THX many times, which I've enjoyed seeing that as well. Let's get into news chat. We've got Oscars that happened on Monday. I'm very curious. Is there any particular reason you guys both watched this? Like of all years? Sure. That's fair. But like, were you excited for it, or was it just kind of like, oh, it's on, I may as well?
Nah, it actually like I don't know. I checked the time to see it was airing, and it started in like 8 minutes. I was like, oh, might as well fucking watch it.
Right. Okay.
And then I didn't expect to sit there the entire time, but then I was so engrossed, you know.
See, this is from.
No, I actually had a good time with it. I think it was like a pretty good presentation.
Are you the same, Fitzy? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. No, it was decent. Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious about that because I mean I didn't expect you guys to watch it, and I was going to come in. I saw clips and thought like it looked really cringy, but like I don't know.
Oh, I mean, there's
Wasn't
always
there like way too many musical bits?
I think the opening Wicked number was bad because I think the Wicked songs are bad.
Sure.
And I think the James Bond tribute was a bit weird.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And I think the Wiz performance was weak because I don't like the song.
Okay, all right.
But I think Conan's opening song was pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, there's always a certain level of like, what word did he use? Oh, cringe. Did he say that?
There's inherent cringe in these
like,
things for sure.
Inherent cringe to the like musical parts, but
Yeah.
yeah, they kind of carried it very well overall, and
That's good.
Yeah, it was definitely less cringy than other years for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in past, I think a lot of the Fallon jokes, and I think like a lot of the jokes that the presenters would fall flat. Whereas this year, the presenters weren't really doing jokes. You know, they just came on into the piece.
Yeah,
so I think that helped it out. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So all the actors and everyone else who was presenting was just doing shit straightforward,
mm-hmm.
but in a way that sounds better. Okay, that's good. We can go through some of the results. You guys sing out if there's anything. I don't know. Like I didn't see. I didn't. I think I've seen like a total of 20 seconds worth of like clips of speeches. So I've seen basically nothing. So if there's anything noteworthy about any of these presentations or anything, just shout out. But we had, of course, Adrian Brody winning for actor in a leading role for The Brutalist.
Longest speech in Oscars history.
Yeah. Oh my god! I did see the thing where they were trying to play him off and he shut it down.
Yeah. That was really fun. I can't believe they actually listened to him. And then like he's like, "I'll be brief," and then he kept on waffling, man. I was like, "Fuck."
Was his speech good though? Was it worth it?
It was fine. It was like it was like actor brain nonsense.
Okay.
But I didn't realize Adrian Brody won, like when he won for The Pianist at 29, he was the youngest to ever win. And now like he was against Timothy, who's obviously 29 today. So it's just extremely ironic.
That is very true. And Timothy should have won this. I'm just going to say it.
For Dune Part 2.
No, not for Dune Part 2. I think Timothy's better than Adrian in his film, to be honest. But I don't know.
Actor in the leading role wasn't just the least I've seen. I've only seen 2 from that category, so I can't really speak on like the win.
Yeah. That's fair. But would you have who'd you have over Timothy and Rafe? That's tough.
I would give it to Timmy. I really think Timmy deserves it.
I agree.
I think he's had such a strong I feel like he almost deserves like a career Oscar.
Already
at the ripe age of 29.
Yeah. Well, I hope. I don't know. I sort of get the feeling that's why they didn't give it to him because he's too young or whatever. But I don't know. That's kind of weird. Actor in a supporting role went to Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. I think this was everyone's lock of the night, wasn't it?
Had he been getting them? Because he got the comedy one at Golden Globes, but then what did Norton?
He won the SAG, right, as well. I think he had everything. Right. I think it was all steaming in for him.
Yeah.
Okay. So huge congratulations to him, of course. Guy Pearce is really good in The Brutalist, I've got to say. So, like, I wouldn't have been mad at that. But there are some other good choices here for sure. We're witnessing, like, I feel like, is there a term for this, Fitzy? Like the Kieran Renaissance or something? You know what I mean? Like the Culkin Renaissance. It's like he's on fire these last 2 years, man.
Yeah, I mean Jeremy Strong as well being there.
Yeah,
it's a Succession Renaissance.
Yeah, 100%. Actress went to Mikey Madison for Honora. I think there was some talk of Demi Moore, right? But like, I think
I don't think Demi's that good in substance. Like, she's fine.
Yeah.
I think had Demi got it, I think it would have been like on the weaker side. I haven't seen I'm Still Here, so I can't really speak about Fernanda's performance.
Yeah.
But like, so I've seen the other four. I think Mikey's like the strongest of the four I've seen.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Was she? She's got to be out there for youngest, right, to win?
Yeah.
Isn't how young is she?
25, dude. Holy shit.
Holy shit. Is there anyone who beats that? Oh, Jennifer Lawrence would beat that still, I reckon.
Oh yeah, she
For,
was young as what she won that for.
Yeah. But that's got to be close. She might even be second to that. But yeah, very well done. Actress in a supporting role went to Zoe Saldana. For Emilia Perez.
Yeah, I honestly do not mind that one. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Is she the best part of that movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact you don't like the movie and you still think that's not bad, not a bad shout.
Yeah, I think Monica would have got it over Saldana, but like I think Saldana deserves it more than Grande, and I think Rossellini just wasn't in conclave enough to really warrant a nomination.
Yeah, no, she shouldn't have even been nominated, in my opinion. Felicity is also very good in The Brutals, I've got to say.
Okay.
I think, like, don't get me wrong, I'm an Adrian Brody guy. I like Adrian Brody a lot, and this isn't me like taking away from him, but like, I think the supporting performances are better than him in the movie, in my opinion. Maybe it's just because I'm taking him for granted because he's the main actor. I don't know, but animated film went to Flow, which is very nice. Very glad that Wild Robot got sunk here. Very, very pleased by that for sure. But I do need to check out. Very glad that
Inside Out 2 got sunk here. Absolutely didn't deserve to be there. But the best animated film wasn't even there of the year. Transformers 1 wasn't even there.
That's right. They should have swapped Transformers 1 for
Inside Out 2.
Robot.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Maybe. Cinematography went to The Brutalist. How were some of these more department head awards? Were there any notable speeches or things that were cool that stood out about some of these awards?
The Doom Part 2 sound guys got cut off.
That's ironic.
Oh, yeah.
What was the visual effects? I can't remember, but like there was like 3 people that went up to it, and like 2 people got their speeches out, but then the third guy got completely cut off.
That's terrible.
Yeah, they didn't. It's not like they muted the mic. It wasn't just like the music.
Yeah.
They just. Yeah.
When Emilia Perez won for original song, the like the 2 people that wrote it, like she started singing like the song on her way out, which is that was like cringy. But then like later when like the Brutalist won for score, like the Brutalist composer, like he started singing along to like the play out music, and it almost like seemed like a bit of a kick at like at those people who were singing earlier.
So
that happened in terms of like the department stuff. Yeah, like that was like
funny.
Interesting stuff, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Sean Baker won for best directing for Anora, of course. Still haven't seen it, but Jen, have you? I think you've seen. Oh no, you haven't seen The Brutalist yet.
Yeah, Brutalist is the only one I haven't seen.
Yeah,
I still think Coralie should have. I still would have liked Coralie to win just for like the sake of the horror genre.
Yeah,
I don't think The Substance is anywhere near the best horror film of the year. I think there's far better achievements in horror, in directing, in acting, in like everything that The Substance gets nominated for. I think there are better achievements in horror, like namely in The First Omen. But I just think had she won for The Substance, I think it would have opened the door, and I think that would have been really fantastic. Yeah, Baker probably does take it.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, Best Picture, everyone knows, went to Anora. Congratulations. Of course, like the one I haven't seen, because that I still need to see. But obviously, I will be seeing it now, no doubt. I mean, I was going to see it anyway, but in the build-up, I just mean within the ceremony itself. When they were getting to the nominees for Best, I mean, they got to the end here. Did it feel like it was Anora's time? Were you guys leaning any particular way?
Yeah.
It felt like
it definitely felt like it was just like the sweep was gonna result in Honora winning.
Yeah.
Which is good, I guess, just for like, independent cinema, as Sean Baker said. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. $5 million budget.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting the start of the night, but then like when he starts winning for
Mhm.
editing and directing, and then gets actress, it kind of starts building to that point.
Yeah, I think there's some crazy stat where like if your film wins best editing, you like earlier in the night, 78% of films that end up winning best picture also won best editing. Something like that.
Oh.
There's a ton of stats like that in the Oscars where you can like historically look at shit and kind of figure it out. But yeah, it's like if you win editing, you've got a very high chance of getting that best picture award, which is very interesting. Jaden's ditched us.
Yeah. I mean, there's never like an Oscars I think I've only watched like two in full, but like whenever I watch the Oscars, it's never like great. But this is pretty much like as good as, it's kind of as satisfying as, I don't know, as gratifying as you can get, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fair. Was the other one you watched in full, was that 2020? 29 for the 2019 year? Because I think I remember watching that.
What was it? I don't know. It was the Will Smith one. Whatever one that one.
Oh, wasn't that like, was that 2 years ago?
Yeah. Oh,
3.
no, I did also watch some of like the 2020, like the Parasite one. Yeah.
That was a really strong year for film, 2019.
Mm.
That was a really strong year. So that was a fun one to be a part of. Yeah, that was a fun season. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Fitzy, I have to ask you what you've been watching. Not because I want to, but because I've got no choice.
I don't know. What have I been watching? I watched Bullet Train. Was that this week? It was maybe this week. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. Bullet Train is pretty. I mean, it's pretty much what I expect. What you could expect.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was very fun. Fuck, I don't know what to say about the film.
Were you impressed with Brian Tyree Henry's British accent?
Oh yeah, is he like, he's American, is he?
He's American.
Yeah. Wow, impressive. Yeah. I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson is always fun. I would be very happy if he was the next Bond instead of Henry Cavill, because he always he always plays like more playful kind of roles. You know, I'd like to see him a little bit more like serious, I guess. Like in Nosferatu, he was very great in that.
You should watch Craven the Hunter.
Oh yeah, I'm not watching that show, but yeah, I think he was the highlight of the film, to be honest. Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's just very charismatic and fun. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's a film that Zach is never going to watch, and as
At
such,
the cinemas.
Yeah, there's no reason for us to have gone to the cinemas. But would you have liked to have seen it in the cinemas for any other? No.
I'm just going to ignore that. I'm going to cut that. But I love Aaron Taylor Johnson, so I don't say this from any place of not wanting him to be successful. But has he got the stuff really to be a leading man? You know what I mean? Or is he a great supporting guy?
Well, I haven't seen Craven the Hunter as Jaden.
I feel like it's not the best evidence, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying either way. I'm just throwing it out there.
I think he could definitely do Bond, though.
You reckon?
Yeah. I don't think he could do Craig Bond, but he could do a Bond of like, a bit of like a 90s 2000s blend.
Can he? I'm not saying he can't. I'm just not sold. I don't know. I feel like it's his voice. He's kind of, I don't know. Aaron, I'm sorry if you're listening. Prove me wrong. I'd love nothing more.
I mean,
I just.
There you go. It's okay.
No, that's all right. No, that's fine. No.
I'd just rather not see Cavill, to be honest. I'd rather see someone else.
Cavill's not happening, right? That's not happening.
I didn't think it was happening until Amazon bought him out completely.
What? And you think it might be Amazon might like it?
I could see Amazon forcing it, but like I think Barb knew that he was too old to play Bond.
He's too old.
Yeah, but him being like the fan, like the hard fan favorite because people online
is he
don't know
really
anything.
the hard fan favorite?
Yeah, because people don't know shit. They just see big British man. Like I could see Amazon caving to that and then offering him shit tons of money.
Maybe. I don't know. I still wouldn't bet on him, but I also don't have anyone else to bet on, so I don't know.
I think you need to cast a relatively unknown. Like that is just the go.
Yep, I agree. It needs to be like a David Corrin Sweat situation where he just pops up and it's like, oh yeah, that guy looks right, I guess, but I've never seen him in anything.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
Any further comments on Bullet Train?
Oh yeah. Fuck. Oh yeah, freaking old mate Michael being the White Death or whatever. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the action in this film was actually pretty great. Like, like it'll be praised for its fun elements, non-linear storytelling stuff, but the action was actually pretty impressive. So, yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. It's such a Netflix film, It's such a
it is.
It's become. I mean, this film was really.
Well, that's because you didn't get to experience on the big screen.
Oh yeah, we should have gone, dude. It would have been great on the big screen, right? That would have been an experience. Yeah.
I don't know if it was my cinema or if it was me. Dude, I found it inaudible. I was like, what the fuck are they saying?
Oh, you've actually gone to see this on the big screen? I thought you've... Because you
said, no way, right?
Yeah, never... Yeah. It's like...
I'm not seeing that show on the big
watch.
screen. Yeah. I remember that.
I don't have a highlight this week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
So I watched Amelia Perez and Wicked. I'm going to talk about them in conjunction because they're both musicals that didn't deserve nominations.
Please do.
I'm just going to go off the bat. Wicked is not that much better than Amelia Perez for all these Wicked stands to be on their high horse about, Amelia Perez has no good songs. Wicked has no good songs either. Amelia Perez actually has because it's in Spanish maybe is also why I can't tell. But some of the songs are decent. I have a decent tune.
Okay.
Oh my god, Wicked! Oh god, it is a cringe fucking fest, man. I started writing notes on how much I hated it, but then I just gave up because I was like, the film's not worth it. I think Amelia Perez is a worse film. I think Wicked's 2 hours and 40 fucking minutes for a part one. Is that not longer than the actual fucking stage play? It's
yes, I think it is.
That is disgusting. It's egregious. It is horrid, and you feel 2 hours and 40. It is a long movie, and it fucking feels like 5 hours, man. It is.
One of those Letterboxd reviews you liked, I laughed out loud. Wasn't it something like it really starts to lose steam in the 7th hour? Or something like that? That made me laugh.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it is so long. Whereas Amelia Perez has the decency to be just over 2 hours. I think Amelia Perez, I think it's good in its individuals. Where I think its songs are fine, honestly, and I think it's shot pretty well, and it's got some interesting kind of cinematography going on, and in the kind of compilation and editing and kind of montages they have of some things. I think the acting is kind of where you lose it a bit. I think the real problem probably is the fact that it just kind of tries to address something so big, and it just kind of skirts around the entire time. But I don't think that's it's people are treating it as a villainous kind of fault. But it is just something that movies do on the regular. But then because they're not liking this movie, they're kind of touching a bit more on it. I don't know. it's I think it's definitely misguided, but like it's bad, but I think there is still like a decent amount to praise for it. There is still like a shit ton of cringe though. I'm not gonna hide that fact either. And like look, we could end up being like there is some enjoyable elements. I'm not gonna lie. But the songs are shit, and it's so long, man. But like they have this like really interesting thing, like a genuinely interesting kind of like story where like the animals in Oz are like being like silenced and like they're being like eradicated, because like the animals are talking and magic and shit like that, and like there's this like interesting thread that they only start pulling at in the fourth hour. So like like that kind of saves that's kind of saved the film for me, because like that was like a genuinely interesting like kind of like, thing they're going on, and like yeah.
What about the actual like story though? Isn't it like about like a college love thing or something, like a love triangle or something?
Yeah, so it's not overly love triangle at the moment, mate, because it's split into two parts. Like the Fiero gets introduced and all that, but like he's immediately with Glinda, and then like there's like hints of romance. Like, it's pretty obvious, like the indicator between Alfaba and Fiero. It's a really bad idea. I'm not gonna lie. Like taking characters from Wizard of Oz and just being like, what was their college experience like? It's pretty dumb. But that's why I like the second storyline of like the animals in Oz disappearing. Because like that's quite an interesting thread that they can pull at.
You're gonna have to wait to see part 2 in the cinema.
Yeah, God.
To see the conclusion of that.
What I did write down was I physically cringed and groaned. I literally groaned. Like I caught myself groaning when every time they mentioned that the school's name is Shiz, and like, oh, here at the Shiz. And it's like, you know, the Shiz is the best school in Oz. And, oh, we have munchkins and animals at Shiz. I'm like, fuck off. Oh, like, how can you name your school that in your fucking thing?
That's like jizz, man.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like that, but like it sounds like that, sure, but it's also just such a cringe fucking name, man. I don't know. Like, it is just awful. And like my other big issue, like from when I was taking down notes, as I gave up after like 20 minutes because like there was just too much to take down. But like the other big one was like when Alfaba comes out, she's green, right? Like sorry, like when she's born, she's green. And like
is this the witch?
Yeah. And like the parents have this like big fucking tiff. They're like, she's green, she's hideous, take it away from me. She's like, I can't look at it. But they have a fucking bear and a wolf as a wet nurse. I'm like, you got fucking talking anthropomorphic bears, but you have an issue with your child being green? I'm like, what's going on here, man? Like, it's just stupid. And like I don't know. Like, look, maybe the stage play is better or some shit. But this film, this is whack, man. Like, oh my god. And like, Defying Gravity, not worth it. Not worth the hype at all in the single bit. In the fucking slightest.
Wow.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Still a little bit better than Amelia Perez though, but like just as it's like kind of like a war of thoughts. I don't know.
I feel vindicated. Do you know how many people have asked me if I'm going to see Wicked when I'm going to see Wicked? It's like, bro, I'm not watching Wicked. All right, it's not happening. I feel like I won. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I won.
Wait for the play to come out.
Now, it's the time to hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is your favourite car? Julie said, my favourite car is the MX-5, a red Mazda MX-5. Is this Julie's current car?
No.
Oh.
But the MX-5 is like the convertible Mazda.
Oh, it's like it's like a high-end one, is it?
Not high end, no.
Sorry, I'm so.
No, you can get one for cheap, and like they're great cars for like literally everyone. Like you can take them and like you can like install it with a shit ton of mods and make it like a fucking sleeper, or you can like have it as like a girly cruiser, or like you can have it as like pretty much anything. Like it's a great car for anything,
Oh, okay. Sounds like it would be up my alley then, I guess. Well, anyone's alley apparently. Nice. Okay. Dr. Luke said the car from Back to the Future.
DeLorean.
I'd like to think he knows it's called the DeLorean, but like he was just tired or something. Yeah, he did type this at 9:30. Maybe at 9:30 brain.
Yeah, he beat
But
Uncharted 3 last night, and I think he said it was he was suffering Uncharted fatigue. So that's
yeah. He needs to have a break from that Uncharted fatigue and remember it's the DeLorean for sure.
Can't believe Back to
Andy
the Future has
Lau
been mentioned
said-
twice this episode.
What was that? Sorry.
Can't believe Back to the Future has been mentioned twice this episode.
Oh, we're going to do Back to the Future. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Strap in, bro. Andy said, my favourite car is the 2005 Toyota Century. Bloody 16 layers of hand-painted paint, I tell ya. And the Honda Accord 97 that Andy Lau's character owns because it also has nice leather seating, apparently. And that's from a rom-com called Needing You, directed by Johnny Toe in 2000. I've watched this clip that Andy put in the Discord as reference. Now, I think that car looks dog shit. Like, can I say that?
Which
Is
one?
that controversial?
Is that the Century or is that the Accord?
The Accord. I mean, we're going to talk about this, but I have no reverence for like older vehicles, personally. Is there? I'm safe to read these other answers, Jaden?
Yeah.
I just need to make sure because I don't know what I'm reading half the time. Jai said definitely an RUF. Rough? Did you say RUF?
I say RUF. I don't know if it's yeah.
All right. An RUF CTR3 Club Sport in Renless Fashion Grey, thread on black. I did look this one up. I liked it. I respect that choice for sure. Alex said Toyota Camry DCRS 0329. God, these fucking going real hard with these fucking model numbers. That's my favorite car today. I saw that one. That is the most like Disney Pixar cars car. You know what I mean? Where like
it's a touring car, which is like I don't know, it's like Australia's version of a stock car.
Yeah. Which is wait, so you're agreeing with me?
I mean, like,
you put it in the most childish way. I'll say that.
Yeah, you have that interpretation because of cars, but that's because cars is based of NASCAR. And then,
yes.
And then touring cars are just kind of our equivalent
around NASCAR.
Yeah,
got it.
Except we actually drive on complex circuits instead of circles. So
true. So, do NASCAR? Do they really just drive in circles, like as is depicted in cars? Really?
Yep.
That's pretty boring.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, at least if you're in the stadium, you can see the whole thing at once.
True.
I mean, that sounds... I mean, I don't give a shit about this stuff. That sounds like a benefit if you're an audience member.
Yeah.
Or is it so boring that it doesn't matter because they're driving in circles?
I mean, like I think like when they are driving in circles, that like strategy does come into play, and like you can do kind of interesting stuff, I guess. Like there is like a layer to it, but like I mean, it is a very straightforward circuit.
Sure. Yeah. Do you reckon Alex would like his Camry with like the logos all over it? Is that how you need it?
The reason why he put that, I'd say he likes this car at that specific date.
Yeah.
For this
that makes sense.
Not the answer I was expecting from either of those guys, to be honest. But
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jaden, what is your favorite car?
I don't know. So, well, not that I don't know. I'm gonna go with. I'll go with two. Yeah. I'll give two answers. The first one I'll say is a Gen 1 Honda Prelude, like a 1980 ish. It's tough as.
Holy shit!
Did you look at Gen 1 though? Not like the not like the current.
No,
gens?
not the yeah. The modern one looks that's a whole different thing. But no.
Yeah, love that shit. Nearly got one, but then didn't. And then my second answer is a little bit more unachievable, and that's a 2018 Aston Martin Vantage.
Oh, I like the two ends of the
green.
spectrum though.
Yeah, the non-roadster version, the non-top down version, because convertibles are shit.
Oh, that's nice, man. That lime green's nice. Oh, you're onto something with that.
I created a bit more of a short list, but I was like, we'll keep those two. Like those two, like they're like the ones that I'm like, if I had a 2-car garage and unlimited money,
yeah,
like that's what I'd go.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. See, it also comes in this sort of like, what would you call that? Like a darker teal green or something? I don't know what you'd call that.
Oh, like the British racing green.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I kind of like that too, but the lime's nice.
Yeah, I like what the dude when they announced this. I was like peaking my Aston Martin phase, and like this was like cream titty, man. This was insane shit. And then like they have they have like a touring car version as well, the GTA I think it is called, with like the fixed wing and like the kind of, it's so nice, man.
That's really cool. I when I was looking for my answer, obviously thinking about sports cars, looking at all the nice car varieties, nothing really stood out to me. I don't know. I'm not a fancy car guy. I don't really like the idea of having like a Ferrari or any of those kind of cars. Just kind of doesn't really do anything for me. But like looking at, I'm like this is like the model, the design of this one is like, it's, I don't know, it's slick, it's simple. Like it's like the one I would go for. You've sold me on this kind of car now just from this one.
I've spent countless hours on the I've spent many hours on the Aston Martin website customizing my Aston my 2018 because they let you pick everything on that shit. Like it's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. So yeah, I guess that becomes my like sports car answer. But my answer, Cleo might be able to hear me, so I'm just got to talk quietly. My answer is so I've kind of always liked the look of minis when they drive around because I think they're kind of funny. And they're like the 2-door ones that are just kind of tiny. But I'm like, I don't know if I'd actually want a 2-door one. You know what I mean? Like I think they stand out. I admire them. But I don't know if I'd actually want a 2-door one. So I went to the Mini website. I didn't realize it didn't, like, maybe I'm missing something. It didn't even look like the 2-door one is even like a current one that you can get.
No,
as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Like they just do sort of, I mean, they still focus on smaller cars being Mini, but like they sort of do larger small cars.
Yeah.
As well.
If you compare like the modern Mini to like the like original ones, like they're significantly bigger.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah,
you have like
absolutely.
the Mini Countrymans now, which are like pretty much like regular car size.
Yeah. I did see that one, but I don't know if I wouldn't go for that one because I still want to. I'm a small car guy. I'm a girly car guy. I think I've learned this about myself. So yeah. Honestly, I had a look at the Mini website. I saw I think they had the electric option. What was it? Oh, I forgot what it was called already. Not the Countryman. I did see that one. It was like this red one, the red electric one, the Mini. I'm going with that one. I came up with it on the spot, but I like it. I'm a Mini guy. That's all I can say. Something about, I don't know, they're very European looking, obviously, but in a I don't know, in a cute way, in an admirable way. I like it. So that's my answer. Fitzy, what is your favorite car?
I don't know. I have really bad taste in cars. Like I don't really have a taste. But
I do too. I should have said that. Yeah.
But I used to want to. I used to want to have like an Alfa Romeo Spider, just like the Italian, the red car, with the like kind of upside down triangle at the front. Yeah, that kind of, I don't know. I lost interest in that at some point. But I think they look nice. I think they look unique enough, I guess. But if I did have the unlimited money hackers as Jaden, I would have probably. Okay, so in Miami Vice 2006, Don Crockett is driving a Ferrari 2006 F1. An F430 Spider, okay, so it's like a Ferrari, but it doesn't look as flashy as like the normal Ferrari, That was a nice car, and it had like a nitro thing as well, because I guess that's the F1 part. So yeah, that or like, just a basic bitch Porsche would be nice, British Racing Green. I color in British Racing Green.
Porsche doesn't come in British Racing Green because it's not British.
Oh really? Oh, but I looked it up and it came up with a British.
Does it? Maybe like I don't think it's like a stock colorway, is it?
But the Aston
The
Martin,
custom job.
I mean, that Aston Martin in British Racing Green looks like amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I don't know. But there's a lot of cars
So you're
I
into
don't like.
You're into open roof cars?
I guess so. Although, is the Porsche?
The Ferrari is. The Spider is.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, the Spider is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I've just realised that's a no go for me.
Yeah, I can't stand convertibles.
Yeah. I've never thought about it, but I've just now seeing this. I'm like, yeah, don't know about that.
Like the I don't know. I think most high-end cars have like a convertible option, like the Aston Martins offer like the Roadsters, or like Mercedes, like they all have like a top-down versions. Like they're all just terrible. I'm sorry, Liam.
I mean, I'm not really attached to this car, but like I think I'm like pretty basic. Like if I had 20 million, I'd probably just get the the black Porsche or something.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
what would you
that's-
spend the other
I mean-
19 million? 950,000 on
His mansion in Byron Bay.
next to Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd buy like a spot in Paris somewhere. I don't know.
People say that money can't buy you status. It's like, bro, you can literally buy yourself to becoming a neighbor of like S tier ranked society people.
Of
You know
Oscar
what I mean?
winners.
Oscar winners, exactly. Odysseus himself.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Nolan might be
Byron
over
Bay.
for dinner at one night, and you might stumble, into his yard.
That's right. That's right. And you'll act like you didn't plan it the whole time. All right. That's it. We appreciate... Wait, I've skipped a beat. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, what is the best movie Cinema Effect has ever reviewed? Let us know. I acknowledge, before Andy jumps on me, because he's gonna, I acknowledge we've asked this question before.
I have
As a throwaway. We definitely have. As a throwaway. But it has to be asked again. We've reviewed many more movies since. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Many more movies since. And it has to be on theme for next week's special episode. So, that's it. Yeah. Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
We're doing a very special episode, maybe the most unique episode that we've attempted so far. We're going to be doing a bracket. We're going to be doing a bracket to decide the best film that we've ever reviewed. So, there's going to be some debate, some discussion, some competition between the films. So should be a fun episode to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Cinema Effect. So, yeah.
Cinema Effect.
Cinema.
Yeah. It's been 5 years, so we thought, let's do something fun. Let's do something special. And I don't think it's going to be like a numbered episode, It'll just be like one of those. It'll just be special. Okay. So, yeah. We're going to determine. Hopefully, we'll see how heated it gets. We're going to debate and ultimately end up with the best film we've reviewed, which, I don't know, that feels... The stakes are high. I'll say that.
I'm going to be very upset come the end of next week's episode.
Yeah, you can already tell you're probably... It might not go your way. We'll see. All right. That's it. Appreciate everyone tuning into this week's episode. I appreciate Liam and Jaden for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week, everyone, and goodbye.